Khiana, beauty of the depths, shrouded in emptiness, hope, and fog. Her skin and scales were of pale satin, iridescent and captivating. To caress her body was to be tantalized with ecstasy. Her eyes were the sea itself, tormented by vision and memories of faith betrayed. Khiana, a creature of paradox. She was a being of darkness swimming through shadowed loneliness. Yet Khiana's magic was her light. She was cast away by merfolk who understood the curse of her power, a light unseen but felt by those around her. To be wrapped in Khiana's magic was to feel incomprehensible joy. But darkness could not escape her light, a fate Khiana could not understand. One night, through the fog and tattered nets of her cove, emerged a sight unlike anything she'd seen before. A man tired by trials of the sea and sheltered by rags and raft. The salty beads of water on his statuesque body glistened like gold. His eyes locked with Khiana's, bewildered and mesmerized. A stunned Khiana loomed watchfully towards the man. Was he whom she'd been waiting for? She believed him to be the reason for her existence here. His presence soothed her. She felt alive again. Khiana was in love with this creature from beyond the fog. Khiana's love was the fire of 1,000 stars. Her light wrapped around the man's warm, pulsing body. His eyes could not look away from her. Khiana's light drew his helpless desire to her. He was consumed in bliss. His touch soothed Khiana's soul and brought her peace. Khiana knew that she found happiness at last. She pulled him into her world, exhilarated for the magic they could share. She danced their tangled bodies into the depths of the sea and professed her love to him. Her beloved did not love her back, though. He grew cold and emotionless. Khiana painfully persisted and expressed her adoration for him. The man lay merciless and lifeless in her waters. Khiana could not understand how the man that loved her and her light in one moment could betray her in the next. Overcome by grief, Khiana held on to him, trying to understand. She was utterly broken. What did she do wrong? Khiana was abandoned and alone again, and she didn't know why. Khiana wandered the dark waters, devoid of meaning and love, alone, uncertain, and broken inside. Her heart only grew heavier with time. The air she inhaled scratched at her lungs, each breath cracking her core. Each exhale was an echo of his absence. It was years before a familiar sight summoned her attention. Could it be? The same creature, but different, on floating arched wood. He was magnificent, glistening, strong, and tall. A cautioned Khiana approached him slowly. His eyes reflected back a familiar light. There was hope after all. Khiana was taken aback when he reached out to touch her. The warmth of his skin gushed through her veins. Her heart was manic. She cried for joy with the life that he brought back to her. He took her beautiful body into his own. In a frenzied love, she danced with him through fog and dark waters. As they surfaced, her heart sank. His face was deranged. His gaze locked into the distance. His body cold, uncommitted. She did not want to breathe. She couldn't breathe. Why did these creatures play such cruel games? Her love was lost again. Khiana never let go of these cold creatures. She held them close, for her power was pure. Her light was meant for love. It was not long before she saw bright lights in the reflection of her waters. To her amazement arrived many of the same creature. She hoped they could bring back her first love. She held him out for the creatures to see. These beings were different though. Their faces contorted in anger and excitement as they pointed to Khiana. They had lights of their own, flaming, raging without cause she could understand. She couldn't bring herself to flee. She hoped they could help her. Khiana shared her love and light, but the twisted creatures did not glisten like the others. They were violent, they were rough. Their arms reached out, but not for affection. These arms were cold, heavy steel. They bore down on her delicate body. They suffocated her. They sought out for the sea's glitter, and they left with it. Khiana's light was no more.